I hear that we had a bit of a set to about the lounge.
It was totally different concept, and it is a private house, and it seemed discordant.
So shall we go and have a quick look upstairs? In the
Yes,
guest lounge?
absolutely.
OK, good. They are a certain age and they are pretty set in their ways. Really, all I want to say is my only interest in here is just to refresh it a bit.
As long as it's in keeping with the rest of the place.
However much they want to be seen to be willing to change, the evidence on the ground doesn't support that. I feel quite strongly that in this day and age, one should have a decent television. That is something that I really am going to try and push you towards.
There's a tentative agreement for a compromise design in the guest lounge.
Nothing reversible.
Nothing irreversible. I haven't got my
She's
paint
not going to
pot out.
repaint the room.
No,
I'm glad about that.
My sleeve.
But in the bedrooms, Alex has decided to take matters into her own hands. She wants to prove to Liz and Michael that some simple changes will make the world of difference to their big-spending guests.
So one of the first things I noticed when I stayed here is that all their pillows are hollow fibre, and I personally expect when I pay £200 a night to have at least a certain amount of natural feather pillow. So I've bought them a couple, and I shall immediately put them on the bed. I know these are all small things in themselves, but they all add up to that feeling of luxury that frankly you expect when you're spending this kind of money. It makes all the difference between feeling like you're staying at Granny's house and staying somewhere special. That's a bit better. The thing I find about this bathroom is it's all a bit pink. Liz is worried that white towels are going to look clinical, but in fact, they just look clean. So I'm going to change them all. I'm certainly going to get rid of this. That makes me feel slightly queasy. I don't think it does anything for the room at all. I think my job here is done.
Left to her own devices, Alex has consigned the old-fashioned cushions to the history books. Banished the clutter from the window seats. Introduced smart new luxury toiletries. And the lurid pink towels have bitten the dust. Stylish simplicity is now the order of the day. But what will the Caulfields make of it all?
It actually looks quite nice, starkly beautiful.
Right. Simpler is better.
Less is more in a room
Yes.
like
Yes, it
this.
is.
Yes. It seemed to us that having the colours coordinated with the rooms was more private house than hotel.
But, darling, you have to accept that people who come and stay here know that you're letting out your rooms. And so that feeling of real cleanliness, I really do think is key.
You must
People
give value for money.
and people
got-
expect
yes.
those little
Got to be seen.
details
Yes.
to be right.
No, I fully understand that.
Well, I'm very glad that we're in agreement on this. Thank you.
We're very easy people.
No, you are not.
With Liz and Michael on side, the next step is to tackle their tired and uninspiring website. Alex thought the site's pictures failed to capture the glamour of the historic house, so she's brought in an experienced photographer for a new perspective.
Good.
You have to stand in that corner. It's always taken from
He's
that
a very
corner.
clever man,
I
you
mean,
know.
if you can think of somewhere else you can take it from.
No, I think this is great.
It's
Shape
always
rooms.
this corner. The camera sees things entirely differently to how it looks with the naked eye. You've got to imagine.
And Liz and Michael have an appointment with award-winning website design company Pulse 8.
If we take a look at your existing homepage, to me there's a few obvious areas where it's falling down. Here you've got a picture of your very nice Great Dane, but in terms of priority on a homepage, I would seriously question whether that's the best use of the space.
I mean, some people see that picture and book because they want to meet Claude.
To think that people would book a 5-star accommodation on the basis of meeting your Great Dane, I question quite how many people would go for that. As this stands, it really is doing you no favours at all.
With Progress being made at last. Alex wants to keep up the momentum. It's time for Liz and Michael to take positive action to tackle the underused conference facilities.
We're going to organise an open day where not only do the people come, but they come here very much in style. I'd like you then to give a presentation, something about the conference centre and what you're capable of arranging and doing for them, the kind of quantities you can cater for, the different setups that you can do, but also something very specific about this site. We really have to capture people's imaginations about how they can use this for their own conferences.
Yes.
And we just have to make sure that we get every element
Yes,
just right.
That's fine.
Feeling incredibly nervous about the presentation. I hope they've got the essentials in it. I don't think any of our guests are particularly interested in the history of the house. What they really want to know is what Liz and Michael can offer them for a big conference or a wedding.
Alex has asked for a concise slice of heritage, followed by plenty of practical info about what Kingston can offer as a venue.
That was the long barn, the building with the red door. The original bathroom. The bath there dates from 1830. And that was me standing in...
But it appears the Caulfields are on an entirely different page.
That was the fireplace. That was the...
Rather than presenting a dynamic sales pitch, Liz and Michael have opted for history.
And that was the main stairs. The stairs.
History.
And that was part of the original.
And more history.
And that was the Undercroft with a vengeance, full of junk. And
it's almost 20 minutes before the lecture finally comes to an end.
That was agony. Every single second of that was agony. I just cannot believe that Liz and Michael could do something like that. They seem to have completely missed the point. I suffered through that whole presentation thinking these poor guests must think we're stark raving mad. What a handsome house and beautifully kept garden. For once, a good first impression.
But that good first impression doesn't last long.
I absolutely hate all of this. It has no place in a professional establishment. Is it necessary? No.
And inside, Alex finds Terry's collections hard to bear.
He's got so much of everything. There's china figurines, there's odd Victorian plates, pottery, tea sets, Victorian portrait miniatures, and the inexplicable addition of lots of furry koala bears. The general effect is pretty underwhelming.
To find out more about the challenge ahead, Alex will spend the night.
Just in room 1 here.
Lovely. Okay. Thank you.
The Milton Lodge has 10 ensuite bedrooms, with prices ranging from between £65 and £120 per night.
Thank you.
Bathroom just to the right. Okay.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, 1 room key. See you later.
See you later.
Thank you.
So much. Gosh, it's a long time since I was in such a floral room. It's a shame because the room's got really nice proportions, but they're certainly not being made the most of.
And the floral pattern continues next door.
This is an interesting decorative technique and one that I'm not entirely sure works here. Let's just layer pattern upon pattern upon pattern upon pattern. I mean, the whole effect completely blows your mind. How could you ever sleep in here? Once again, this room is very flowery. It's like someone's dream of femininity. And these duvets don't match at all, and this horrible sofa.
Most of the people that come here, they come in and they say, hell, this is going into another world. And you couldn't change it. You can't change this place. It's got stay as it is.
That is very pink, and it's a kind of pink that you're only going to like if you're a little girl under the age of 4. It obviously doesn't match. Why bother?
Hoping for some improvement downstairs, Alex explores the function room.
This looks like a village hall. There's this collection of very disparate stuff. Just doesn't hang together, and it's a lovely sized room and surely has a million uses. But who's going to use it with it decorated like this?
The house explored, Alex decides it's now time to get to know her hosts, Terry and Maureen.
23 years ago, you bought this place, and presumably it wasn't as stuffed full of stuff as it is now.
No.
So you just go for you like the kind of Victorian look?
Edwardian, really.
Edwardian, sorry.
Oh, don't mind.
Excuse me for saying it, but you're not exactly in the first flush of youth anymore.
Pardon?
Is that
I'm seeing
rude?
Terry will be 80 next year. I
Yeah.
think enough is enough, quite frankly. I'll be
Eventually.
honest.
Well, I'm
Terry
dead.
will
What?
never want to sell it.
Been carried out in a box.
All right, fine. Where do you advertise? Where do you market? What do you do?
We don't advertise.
We don't advertise at all. Don't
Just on the
believe in it.
website, and that is it.
So how do people find you?
How do they find us? Sometimes people just stumble on us.
So what are you prepared to do and what aren't you?
Not a lot.
Oh,
to
what
be
you're
quite-
prepared to do.
There's that saying you can't teach old dogs new tricks. And I think
About me or you?
you're slightly ungallant, darling. Please. So you present quite a conundrum.
We go round in a circle and we come to nothing.
Okay.
Good. Get on with it.
As Alex turns in for the night, the scale of her challenge becomes clear.
This whole situation here is really interesting. It's quite unusual. Usually I have people really interested, at least in seeking for help. They're not even sure that they want to be busier. They don't know even what they want of me. They want everything to be exactly the same. They just want a little bit more money out of it, which is quite a challenge.
Hotel Inspector Alex Polizzi is in Dorset helping Terry and Maureen Connor, owners of the Milton Lodge.
Gonna pick one of these lovely roses to put in my hat.
So far, she's discovered flowery decor,
Let's just layer pattern upon pattern upon pattern.
disordered clutter,
The general effect is pretty underwhelming.
and a couple facing an uncertain future.
I think there's a room for a few little tweaks, but not too much. Too much is a bad thing.
After a good night's sleep, Alex goes online to see how the rest of the world views the Milton Lodge.
This website is really poor. I think it is slightly misrepresenting itself. And I think the pictures are really tired of the interior. It's not representative of how pretty it is here. And normally websites misrepresent the other way. This is prettier than the website shows it to be.
With Joe and Terry responsible for the front of house, Alex takes them both on a tour of the problems she's discovered so far.
This is the most amazingly light and lovely, pretty room. I can't understand why then you have a kind of duvet that completely clashes with the wallpaper. I think that if you're going to do the Victoriana thing of wallpapering, then everything else has to be a bit plainer to suit modern tastes a bit more. Does that make sense?
Well, to you it does. It's obvious.
Well, does it to you?
No, not really.
So why not?
So what do you suggest doing with this room?
I
Change
think
duvet.
change the duvet, walk into the room and see what this wallpaper looks like with this, and actually it looks much smarter immediately.
The bathroom doesn't tickle the hotel inspector's fancy either.
And I know pink is the theme, but was this really necessary?
This is for gay people, this room. We picked the gays here because they like pink. They do, believe it or not, they like pink.
With Terry using any excuse to resist bringing the hotel into the modern world, Alex tries another room and another tack to illustrate her point.
People travel with lots of stuff, and every spare inch of surface is covered here with something. There's nowhere to put anything. You know, you've got stuff that I think don't particularly, you know, it's something that's just stuff that's here.
And what would they do if they wanted them ornaments?
I wouldn't have dried flowers.
That's what I knew you wouldn't say that. That was obvious.
Because they collect dust. Is this carpet, for example, hiding something nasty underneath?
No,
No, have a look.
Oh, well, that's already a lot better.
All about your taste.
But why would you have a rug there, darling? People kind of like plain. Yeah? That's your
opinion.
That's all I'm trying to say.
That's your opinion, though.
That is my opinion, but this is a field in which I know quite a lot.
Of course we would like to be busier, provided it don't change my style of life. At my age, I like doing just what I want to do. But, you know, she's got her ideas and I've got mine.
Right, my bedroom last night.
Yes.
No mattress protector. How can you have a hotel with lots of different people sleeping on a bed? That is the point to a hotel. And then, don't you know what happens in beds, for God's sake? Do I have to sleep on someone else's... you know, I don't really want to have to go into it. No pillow protector. So every time someone has a case of greasy head or anything else, and it soaks into the pillow. You have to have something to absorb that up, darling. It's disgusting. And most of all, what on earth is this doing in my bathroom?
Those go into all the bathrooms.
Do you want to share it?
No, they're washed.
And it's not just the cleanliness that needs attention.
So, my issue in here, like in so many of the rooms, is the quality of the finish and things, darling.
Okay.
You know, if we're going to do things here, we have to look at the room as a whole. I mean, you're the only man I've ever known who's ever thought that violent red and dark blue go together as colour scheme. You know, they're these kind of fairly basic things that we need to tackle. And these are all things that you have got to start being conscious of. OK?
Yeah, that's fine. Yes, I know that.
Good.
Andrew's organisational skills also fail to impress.
Right. Now, this is a minor point, but one I'm still quite interested in. You knew I was coming.
Yes.
You knew what I was coming for.
Yes.
And yet, most of the rooms aren't made up. Quite a lot of the rooms aren't made up. What was your thinking?
At the moment, because naturally enough the building's gone quieter, I'm only making up rooms as and when I need them.
So if someone turns up at your door at 7 o'clock at night saying, I would like a bed, please, you'd have to then make up the room.
Oh, we have to know. I do one or two of them, whatever, but I'm not making up every single bed.
OK. I would never leave a room undone if I didn't have to. Just for so you know. It would seem to me this is an obvious family room, but I know you're not overly keen on kids.
No, that's it. I don't like having kids here because I've had a few bad experiences regarding them.
So, you don't advertise in any gay press, despite being in the gay village. No stag and hen parties.
That's correct, yes.
So you've got a very limited pool of potential clients, don't you?
I'm looking for couples, singles and couples, and that's really about it.
Downstairs, Alex wants to ensure that the guests Andrew does manage to attract can make it through the front door.
I came in this door.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Which basically opens onto a sofa, for goodness sake.
Right, OK. Well, it shouldn't open onto the sofa. I do try and make sure it does open onto here. It's accessible.
Finally, Alex sits Andrew down to present her plan. If the new Lingarth is to survive, Andrew must immediately curb his sky-high ambitions and concentrate on getting the basics right.
what is immediately apparent to me is that I think you're rather confused as to what you're offering here. And if I'm confused and I'm a professional, I'm sure that guests are often confused. I would like to start thinking about this place as your bed and breakfast rather than a hotel.
Okay.
Because I think that would also help you enormously to focus on the essentials of what this service industry is about, which is bed, bath, breakfast.
Yeah.
Those are what people come and stay for.
Yeah.
Everyone's got very little money, everyone's looking for deals, yes. Even at what you insist on calling the shite end of the market, which, by the way, I think does your customers rather disservice. And I wouldn't use that phrase if I were you.
Okay.
What you mean is the cheap end of the market.
The cheap end of the, yes, the cheap
cheaper
end. The cheap
end of the market.
The cheap, yes.
To reassure potential guests that standards are up to scratch, Alex wants the unrated New Lingarth to be accredited. And in Blackpool's crowded marketplace, anything less than 3 stars won't be enough.
The important thing is the number of stars you get. Whatever you bloody call yourself, you want to achieve the maximum possible.
Yeah.
As I'm sure you'll have worked out, calling yourself a hotel makes accreditation a hell of a lot harder.
Yeah.
Does that sound all right with you?
Yes, it does, yeah.
If Andrew is to earn himself 3 stars, he'll need to seriously raise his game. Alex leaves him with instructions to make the New Lingarth sparkle. He soon cracks on with the job.
It is very, very tough to keep it clean, but I've had quite a lot of comments about how clean the building looks.
Alex also wanted Andrew to drop the hotel tag and rebrand the New Lingarth as a B&B. But it seems he's gone even further than the hotel inspector was expecting.
I've given it some thought, and after careful consideration, I think the New Lingarth can go, and it's being renamed Bentley's. I put it out to several family and friends, and they said to me that as soon as someone says Bentley's, they think of a good quality motor car. And I'm hoping that when people think of Bentleys, they'll think of good quality accommodation.
One month later, and Alex is back. But has Andrew done enough to convince the hotel inspector he's ready for life in the fast lane?
Someone's been very busy with the hotel sign. Bentley's of Blackpool. I wonder if that's supposed to raise the tone of the hotel.
This time, Andrew's ensured Alex can make a grander entrance.
No sofa to fall over. That's a very good start. Andrew? Hi.
How are you?
The new name I see, Bentley's.
Yes,
How did that
Bentley's.
come about?
Well, wanted something a bit quirky. I also wanted something a bit more modern as well, because I found that the New Lingarth was a bit dowdy.
But is Andrew's rebrand all fur coat and no knickers?
Where is the mattress protector?
The mattress is not on yet, because this is only a 4-foot bed. And this is going to be replaced into a 4'6" bed. So until I get the 4'6" bed, then there's no point in me buying mattress protectors.
Well, you could buy mattress protectors for a 4'6" bed, and they would still fit a 4-foot bed, darling, frankly.
Okay. I don't know.
And then the curtain's not been shortened?
Because the reason why the curtain's not been shortened is because I like it the way it is. I have got no problems at all with that, and my customers like that as well.
OK, I just think in such a small room, why would you add something for them to walk on? Great. Well, he's painted the old sign over. It's now a really unattractive red. But there is still no new name here. So it's neither the New Lingarth nor Bentley's. It's just a blot on the landscape, actually. It's got no number. How are people supposed to find it, even? How do people look it up on the internet? How does he have guests come and stay here? If he can't even get the signage done, I dread to think how little he's done indoors. Hi.
Hello, Alex.
How are
Welcome back
you?
again. Very good indeed. And you?
Yeah, good. Thank you.
good.
Tell me why you don't have a name outside.
Well, I do, just on the side of the door there.
And no, why? You've painted over the new Lingarth, but you don't have a Bentley's sign up yet.
I've got the logo,
Yeah.
which I don't like.
Right.
I don't want to put up a sign at this particular stage and then think to myself, it's a wrong thing, or I should have had it done this way, I should have had it done that way. The final pieces, like the sign, is just a little email to say, yes, I accept this design, I accept that design. It's literally a 2-minute job.
I find it very hard to work with someone who keeps telling me that they're going to do X, Y, and Z, and then not only doesn't do it, but changes their mind about the value of doing anything. It makes me feel slightly depressed and slightly as if I'm not quite sure what the point was to me having come. All right, I'll get myself sorted out.
Okay. I'll give you a moment.
You know, I feel like I'm living in a parallel reality. He keeps telling me how busy he is and why he's accomplished so little in these 6 weeks that I haven't seen him. At the same time, however, he has the gall to tell me that all it will take is one email or one phone call. And why doesn't he fucking make it?